Hello and welcome, everyone. Welcome back to another fun episode of DevChatter. We are here on Monday, June 11th, and together we are going to write some code. And I'm sure everyone, watching right now in these first few seconds has realized I am not alone. There is someone up in the corner up there. Hi, Jay. How's it going?
Hey
Please
there.
introduce yourself.
Yeah, sure. I'm Jay, short for Jonathan Tower. I'm just over the border from you, Brendan, here in Michigan, and I'm a co-owner of Trailhead Technology Partners, Microsoft MVP, and an aspiring developer.
Aren't we all? Okay, so everybody, let me know if there's if our audio levels are okay. If either one of us is too loud or too quiet, and I will adjust each of us accordingly. And we are going to go ahead and get started. So the first thing I want to do is mention to anybody that is a regular here that we are going to be working on our DevChatter bot project. So for anyone who isn't new here, the bot that is in our chat room is actually the one that we build here on stream. We do a few other projects as well, but our main one is the bot just because it's fun. We can do games, we can do interesting things, and it's a fun little project that you can interact with. In addition to interacting with it in chat, all the code we actually do here on stream is actually all out on GitHub. None of it is like closed source. It's all out there, public. You can see it, you can fork it, contribute to the project, whatever you want to do. We do actually have a number of people in chat that do contribute to it, including Async Awake, who just put in these two issues in our issue tracker 2 days ago and 1 day ago. So there's a possible bug in the Hangman game, which let me really quickly just mark that as a bug, and we will get to that. I am pretty sure you're right. I remember there is a bug in the Hangman game that we're going to want to fix. And then the other one is the documentation on our configuration is out of date, because isn't documentation always out of date? So that's one that is pretty much in here. So if someone wants to tackle this one, and it's actually a really easy fix, so I'm going to mark that as a great first issue, and mark help wanted, because it's pretty much just putting this new code into a pull request and sending that in. So if you are interested in making, say, your first pull request to a project, that's a pretty easy one. Okay, so other things. Let me click OK there, because you are allowed to collaborate with me. I am totally cool with that. I trust Jay not to totally destroy our project. I know it's brave. Okay, so the thing that I was talking with Jay about right before we started is what does he want to work on this project? And as Jay mentioned in his intro, he is an ASP.NET guy. So we're going to do some ASP.NET Core. And as many of you know, our bot is just a regular console application, so it literally runs out of program. And I think we should try to move this into a web project. So who says we can't run a bot in a web project?
Not me. I wouldn't say that.
Yeah. So you'll also notice, so a couple of things. I'm going to give Jay an intro, which also nicely gives all of you an intro. So our bot spins up inside of this program.cs file. And Jay, you have the stream up, right? So you can see what I'm doing there.
Yep.
Although you could also just tag to me in inside a live share. Either way works. So the main thing that we've got is in our main program, we go ahead and we do some basic, we grab our configuration out of our config files and user secrets, etc. And then we set up our dependency injection container. We don't have the nice structure of ASP.NET here that has all the fancy methods already there for initialize the configuration and whatnot. So we just did our own. And then we have a wait for commands. And all that is, just to show everyone, is essentially we have a stop command and a start command. And that way we could stop the bot if we needed to and restart it. And that just does, new scoping of it and restarts everything. We also have, like, stop, and exit, right? So if we really wanted to fully restart the bot, we can. And that's how that works. The only thing the bot is actually doing, the only reason it's running even in here at all, is so we can send it a start and a stop. And then the other thing it does is inside of our start method, you'll see that it calls run. And run does a couple of things. It schedules our automated messages, which are going to be inside of the main loop. I'll show you that in a second. We connect to our chat clients and other external services, and then we tell it, hey, there are going to be some notifications that you just need to be paying attention for, and that's pretty much it. The loop that I was talking about is right here, and this just is a loop so we can do our automated tasks. So we just did an async just task that we just have here. It's synchronous. We're blocked on this loop. We don't have to be, but we did because we're console app, so who cares? Why not? So we just spin up a new task and get it running. So that's pretty much it. That's how the bot gets started. And as I mentioned, we're just doing this delay. I forget what our refresh interval is. Every second. Okay, so every second we look to see if there are tasks to do, and then we take care of the tasks. So, not too shabby. All that makes sense, Jay?
Yeah. Yep.
Okay.
So those tasks is that responding to the chats from other users, or?
So this is actually not.
Okay,
so
this is like administrative stuff.
So if you look in the chat history, you see that hello and welcome. Hello and welcome. I hope you're enjoying the stream. Feel free to follow along, make suggestions, ask questions, or contribute. See that post in there?
Yep.
That is an automated message that triggers every once in a while. I will show you another automated message that happens. So if I start up a game of rock, paper, scissors, for example, in the chat, you'll notice that everybody now has the chance to join that game of rock, paper, scissors. So, hey, if you're in chat, join rock, paper, scissors if you want to. And then what is going to happen is, after a while, the bot is going to say, hey, okay, I'm done waiting for people to join. Now we're actually going to choose. And so the bot is going to choose rock, paper, or scissors. And, you know, it essentially works like a table game at a casino, where it's all of us against the dealer. Hey, Eric Tag. So, yep, that's the idea.
I gotcha. Okay.
So that's an example of an automated action. And actually, I could just show you a couple of those. Wait, why do I have two automated action systems? That is a bug I need to fix. How did no one ever tell me about that? I blame chat. Totally chat's fault. They're writing all the code. This wasn't me. I don't write this code here. What do you mean? Hang on while I cover up this. Yeah. Thanks, Arid Tag. Yeah, see, it was Arid Tag's fault. He was totally. Yeah, I appreciate. If anyone's ever worked on any code base, you've seen that same thing. Wait, how did we end up with two of this? Now, the funny thing is that's actually going to be two references to the same object. So they're not different. That's just two references to the same one. So. Yeah.
Okay. I mean, it's not a good idea to just copy and paste code.
No, it's not. Actually, that wasn't a copy paste code. I actually know what caused that. Oh, see the message in chat that says only 30 seconds left to join? That's the automated message. So that is a delayed message action. So, which I pulled up here on screen. And essentially all we do for that one is we say how long until the message goes, what the message is, and which chat client to send it on. So in this case, that was like a couple of minutes in, send this message on the Twitch chat client. Make sense? So, okay, so that's how that one works. And then other examples of these include a one-time callback. So this is our automated action that's basically like a chance to say, hey, when I want to trigger this game to start. So, for example, that was the warning, and then you'll notice it just says, I choose scissors. You know, the winner is DevChatter. DevChatter wins 100 coins. And so the bot chimes in with that, and the reason is that there was a one-time callback to end the game of rock, paper, scissors and actually choose.
Okay.
So that's how these work.
Yeah. So I forget, did you say already that how we might go about doing this inside of a web application? I don't think you did you?
Oh, we haven't yet. So.
All right. We're teasing.
Yeah, we need to put this in here somehow. I don't know. So one option literally is to spin it up right off a program and just like have it be a separate thread, which I think we can do. And it'd be weird. I don't know what we'd do if the thread crashed. Like, how would we tell?
Yeah. Yeah, or we can, I'm assuming program here spins up some other host class that owns the whole chatbot. Is that right? That's kind of what program does.
Yeah. So
the web app could be responsible for bringing that up.
It could.
And I assume that's supposed to be a singleton for everybody, right?
Like one bot for everyone to use? Yes.
And then the bot occasionally needs to schedule tasks for itself to do. Is that right?
Yeah, so what the bot does to schedule tasks is it has access to that automated action system. So this is just passed around as an interface all over the place and gets used. So.
All right. So let me just look at start here a second. So basically start, what do we do in start? I see, so you call either a stop or a start method. And that's resolving the bot main object. Dependency injection.
Yep.
And then it's just calling .run on it. So that's kind of what starts up the bot.
Yep.
And then that's a singleton bot for everybody that's using the chat after that. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep, that is correct. Yep, I think you got it. So, question then is, what do you think? Where should we put it? I feel like there should be some kind of a page that knows the current state of this thing, and we could, start it and stop it. Right? I think that makes sense.
Yep. One thought is to maybe expose it as an API, and then you could do any kind of front end you want to it, right? If we do it as like a REST API that it lives inside of.
Oh, so you mean like add a REST API to the web project that other pages on the web project would even call, but something else could call also?
Sure. So it seems like these days most web applications are actually SPAs, right? Not server-side web applications. But then if you set up the architecture to be logical for a SPA, you're going to probably be doing some sort of REST services or something. But then you're also keyed up perfectly for like a mobile app to do the same thing, to just call the same REST services.
I guess then I'm wondering, are we going to run this anywhere else, or I think we're probably just going to run it here though.
Okay.
So I don't think we're going to need to do that one.
Okay.
I think we'll probably just have this web page be what people run.
I see. So this is where people go to interact with the chat bot.
So yeah, if they want to manage, here, let me run the website. I'll just show you the website because it exists right now, and right now it has access to the same database that the bot uses. So the bot project, the console application. Wait, what? What do you mean unable to connect to IIS? That's a lie. Let me build this again, and then tell Microsoft that their product's broken. Unable to connect to web server. What? Well, that's a new one. Hey, Jay, I'm going to send you a new link.
Okay, yeah, that's fine.
I'm going to restart Visual Studio. that literally worked on Saturday when we were doing our previous stream. So this is a special debugging technique only known by Microsoft MVPs and insiders. It's called Restart Visual Studio.
Right.
It's highly advanced and technical. I can't explain all the details of it, but I can tell you there's an X button that I press in the top right corner that closes it, and then when I reopen it, everything magically works.
You hope.
Quiet, you. This works every time. Have you tried turning it on and off again?
Right.
It is sad how often that will fix a problem. Let me try this and then I'll share you in again.
Okay.
No!
Yeah, just...
What?
Oh,
What
man.
the heck? Lies.
So this is a core project, right? An Asp Net Core project?
Yep.
So here's another idea. If
I could just run a command line.
You could run a command line. Another idea is if you delete the .vs directory, sometimes something gets goofed up in there for me.
That's a good idea.
So I'm able to get it to recreate it the way it should be.
Let me nuke.
That's right.
Obj.
Awake is on to me.
Yeah, that's...
I'm not supposed to tell you guys this kind of stuff. It's the top secret. Mm-hmm.
Sorry, I caused those red squiggles. I'm messing with stuff.
That's all right. I have high red squiggle tolerance.
Whoops. Sorry, guys. Let me go ahead and do that.
I like how the bot says goodbye.
Oh, yeah, of course. Bot has left the building. Okay, let me try this again. Nope, still doesn't.
Well, shoot.
Well, that's an annoying one.
You have your is it running down in your tray, your system tray down there? Can you exit out of it and see if? At which point we will have restarted all of the things.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is a courteous bot to say goodbye.
Yeah, well, if it just left the room, you'd all be confused.
Mm-hmm.
All right, clean the solution. All right, this is the other pro tip that I learned when I worked for a company that Jay knows what company I worked for. What you do is you clean the project like 6 times, and then you rebuild. And I'm not kidding. There was a project I worked on where we were that superstitious about the project that, like, you had to rebuild extra special ways.
It's a little OCD almost, isn't it?
You know, devs are nothing if not superstitious and crazy.
It's clean, spin around, touch your nose.
Hang on while I sacrifice this small animal to the gods of development. Yep. All right, so I finished cleaning, rebuilding, restarting. I have closed down IIS Express. I deleted all of those random metadata files that are not committed, like the .vs folder, and restarted.
Hoping for some luck.
And I'm going to clean one last time, because, you know, you can never be too clean in your projects. Then we're going to rebuild. It's annoying. This is the exact same code that we were running on Saturday, and it worked on Saturday.
What'd you guys do to it on Saturday?
I don't know. But, all right, here, I'm going to try this. I got one step left, and this is the crazy one that I shouldn't do. You're all going to notice the difference here. Everybody see the flash of the screen when you lost the background there?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, and you look in the top left-hand corner and you see what user I'm running as now. If this like, I'm afraid that Microsoft did something and it's like needs to reconnect to IIS.
It's at IIS Express though, right?
Yeah, that's what I mean. So it shouldn't require admin access.
No.
That's the whole point of like those changes they made, is that you should not have to run as administrator.
Yeah, Arid Tag had a good point about port numbers. We can look at that too in
Oh
the
yeah.
under the properties. I think there's that.
Sodza said it. Yeah, port number that might be a separate issue. And so welcome Sodza, welcome Till. I see a bunch of people coming into chat. And welcome Mr. Bubbles if you're still here.
Oh yeah, I think I attributed that. I misattributed that help that we got.
It's okay.
That was actually Sodza.
It's always hard to tell in chat.
It happens fast.
Okay, what the heck? So you're thinking port numbers are the issue, huh?
Yeah, maybe let's just look at the...
Oh, that is hilarious. Nope, site's running.
Oh, there it is.
But I think he's right. I think there is something, or he or she is right. I don't actually know. It could be something with port numbers.
But it ran.
Yeah, but it didn't actually run. Yes, Arid Tag will take credit for the idea now.
I guess some if the bot was running, some coins could change hands then for that, right?
Oh yeah, that's a good point. I could run the bot and people can fight over coins. Async Awake, if you're in there, feel free to toss coins around at people. All right, there we go.
Oh, there they go.
Oh, no. Arid Tag actually just has enough coins to do stuff. Arid Tag has a ton of coins, by the way. See?
Oh, yeah.
Lots of coins. Okay, so the bot's running and the website is running. So we're going to call that a win and not ever run it that way ever again. So, cool. Oh, wait, hang on, I just noticed a problem. Electrical skateboard. Okay. Hopefully that fixed it. There we go. Bye, electrical skateboard. You're off the list because you're a bot. So my solution to making sure that the bots don't end up on the top users list in the chat is I tax them off of the list. There's a bot tax in here. The tax is all of your coins whenever I notice that you're becoming a problem. Sorry, bots.
So I should behave myself.
Yeah, or I'll tax all your coins away. Okay, so this is the website. We have a couple of things, like we can manage the bot, like our stream schedule on here. We can manage what the? Why didn't that work? I thought, oh, maybe I never wired that one up. These are all of our quotes that are in the bot's quote system. These are all the words that our bot knows for playing Hangman. So this is the secret list, by the way. If anyone wants to play Hangman, pay attention. Till, you survived Russian roulette. Congratulations. Okay, so what are we thinking then? A start button inside of here that triggers the bot main?
Yeah, and then how will people interact with it?
Well, it should talk into the chat, right?
Oh, okay.
Connect the chat and talk in there, so they can still do that part.
Okay.
But then we can put anything else we want out here.
I gotcha. So you're just talking about basically an administrative console here, so we can click the start button to get it started.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So one of the things we talked about before the stream is this kind of cool library called Hangfire, which allows you to run inside of an ASP.NET or ASP.NET Core application, which typically, being a web application, is going to be more about responding to incoming requests, right? That's going to respond whenever an HTTP request comes in, and then kind of just go silent, if you will, until something else happens over HTTP. But Hangfire actually lets you, in a way that is actually recoverable if you have any kind of downtime, your server reboots or whatever. It actually will allow you to spin up background tasks and schedule them. So I think we might be able to run the whole thing as a background task, I think.
Okay. That would be awesome if we could get the bot to just be a Hangfire background task.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's see, I guess. So where do I start? Let me share you back in again.
Yeah.
Because I realize you are still kicked out.
Mm-hmm.
Have a new link. I tweet messaged it to you.
Got it.
Sounds good.
Okay, let me just paste this into Visual Studio here.
Yeah, so for anybody that doesn't know, this is VS Live Share, and it actually, so he doesn't screen share with me, he actually just gets like brought into my Visual Studio. So, and has like a temporary local, cache of files that are like obtained as needed. So he's sort of just connected into mine. It's kind of cool.
Yeah, it's really neat too, because if you think about, like, if you're bringing somebody in to help you collaborate on something, just to, I don't know, fix a bug or help you figure out some issue you're having, maybe they're not on your Git repo, maybe they're not in your source control, whatever that is. And it's going to be a real pain to do all those steps, get their environment set up. This is a really cool way to just kind of circumvent all that for a temporary help session like this.
Yep.
It's pretty neat.
Okay, so I assume there's a Hangfire NuGet package I want to pull in?
Yeah, there is, and it's called, surprise, surprise,
Hangfire.
Yeah, yep.
Oh man, I am brilliant. You see everybody, this is how you know an awesome developer. They figure out that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Wait, I don't want pre-release.
Yeah, that might be a little too exciting.
Yeah. Well, I had that box checked from back when we were using Asp Net Core 2.1 pre-release stuff.
Yep.
Now that it's RC, we don't have to do that, or well, RTM, we don't have to do that.
Yep. Yeah, so Hangfire is now a .NET standard library, so you can bring it in to anywhere you like to .NET.
Whoa! They messed up. Look at this. Their README TXT has tabs and spaces in it. Everybody, look at the shame right down here. Look at that shame. Shame. Ouch. Those are tabs.
I bet if you go look at the Git repo for this, I bet that's a merge in from someone else.
It probably is, yeah. It was just funny. I opened it up. It's just like tabify, untabify. I'll fix that for them. There we go. Fixed. All right. I assume that that gets it installed. Blasphemy! Literally unusable. Uninstall.
That might be a little bit of an overreaction, right?
Yeah. Well, welcome to Twitch, Jay.
Yeah. So Twitch is like the rest of the internet?
Yeah, it's basically the rest of the internet. Yeah, there's no difference.
Good to know. Yeah, so now that you've got that installed, since this is a Asp Net Core project, right?
Yes, absolutely.
Just basically going to go to your configuration class and add it. Add the use Hangfire server and use Hangfire dashboard, I think they're called.
So you mean inside of my startup?
Mm-hmm.
And say something like app use, what is it? Hangfire dashboard and server?
I think those are the two. Yeah, let me just look at the docs here and see if they spell it out.
I love the fact that we can just kind of go in here and just like guess that that's what it is. You know, like it really shows you that there's a fairly nice setup here from the way that ASP.NET's got this built.
Yeah, not to mention you're going way back here to Intellisense, a fairly old technology that is helping us out there too, right? You started typing use Hangfire and then boom, showed you what was available.
The neat part is that I don't know what namespace it required to do that. Hangfire. The neat part is that it found that despite the using for Hangfire not being up here at the top of the file. Because if I remove that, you'll see that those don't work anymore. So it gave me that Intellisense despite the using not being there.
Yeah.
And yes, Blub, that is a resharper feature. You are
it
correct.
Is. So you almost wonder if the editor is able to figure it out without the using statement. How soon before you just don't even need the using statement?
Yeah.
Right? As long as there's no naming collision.
Yeah, as long as it's not a naming collision. That's what I was going to say.
Yeah. Right. But the compiler knows that too at design time, right? If there's a naming collision.
Yes. Okay, so looks like this thing could take a path match for Hangfire. So by default, it's going to be at /Hangfire. Does that mean it's running already? So the dashboard is at that. So so if I restart this, which it won't work, but if I do it, because I have a feeling it's still going to give us that same error. And I don't think this will start it on your computer. We'll find out. It'd be hilarious if it like ran perfectly on your computer and then failed on mine. So I'm going to do that. Oh, wait, hang on. Exception. Unable to find the required service when doing use Hangfire.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I need to add Hangfire.
Yeah, so we're using them, but we never added the services, which shame on them. Their documentation is not super clear about this.
Add Hangfire. Boom.
But yep, it's super easy to guess.
Config. It wants action global configuration.
Yeah, here I can I paste into this?
You can just edit this file.
Okay.
Yeah, go for it.
Yeah, so we'll show them the beauty of the live share stuff.
Yeah, there you go.
So we'll do config.use. Now, are you using SQL or anything as a backing store?
Yeah, we have a SQL database that we do connect to, yes.
Okay, so we'll use SQL Server storage, and then we need to get the connection string right here. So I assume you're going to have some way of grabbing that out of your configuration.
Yeah, I can get you the connection string.
Why is it complaining to me?
It's complaining to you? I'm not sure.
Yeah, I still have a squiggly that hasn't disappeared. You don't, though, do you?
Oh, no, yeah. It was fine on mine.
Okay.
So I don't know. Can we grab it like this? Configuration.get connection string. Yeah, there we go. Okay, boom. There's the connection string it should need.
Now I'm just going to warn you, if you're sort of a database purist, don't touch my database guy. If memory serves, this is going to create some tables in your database for you in a separate schema, just so you know.
Yeah, no, that sounds fine. As long as it's in a separate schema, that won't be weird. If it puts it in the same schema, it'll be weird.
Yeah, it would be weird. And then I don't know if you're using any kind of ORM that would get confused.
if core with migrations, which I should be able to tell it to ignore those tables.
Right.
So,
but now they'll be in a different schema, so that should be easy.
Yeah. Okay. So we were saying that we were going to rebuild and run this again and ignore the error that it gives us again.
All right.
Wait, is there a? People are playing rock paper scissors. I don't want to cancel the game on them. So I'll just do this. I'll wait for this build to fail. It's gonna fail because I can't restart the bot while it's like running.
Sure.
It's kind of locking a few DLLs, just a couple.
So I've locked onto your cursor in live share.
Yep.
And it's kind of funny, but the line of code that I typed, the config.use SQL Server storage, still has a squiggly under it, and the error message says iGlobal configuration does not contain a definition for use S, which
That's
is
weird.
obviously what I started typing, but it's like the cache is behind or something.
So heads up to everybody. The VS Live Share extension in Visual Studio and VS Code is in a preview state. This is an early preview. It's only recently made public preview. So, and everybody in chat is correct. The bot is not rigged. It just happens that I always win.
So what's that error message there? Value cannot be null, name or connection string.
Is that
what is that? What is that? That helper method, the get connection string thing? Does that return a string?
I think it returns a string.
Yeah, it looks like it does. So what's the?
Yeah, that's definitely a string.
And use SQL Server storage takes a string.
Maybe that didn't actually return a string like we thought it did.
Yeah. At runtime, you think that's not doing that?
Maybe not. I don't know. But that connection string is right there. That's it.
Is there somewhere else in the code where it's doing that same thing? There must be, right? Oh, that's weird.
I totally didn't cheat right now just to make this work and move on to something more interesting. Totally didn't do anything. No one saw anything. Jay certainly didn't see it. He can't see that file. All right, so it looks like it's there.
Okay, so can you go to /Hangfire now in the URL?
Let's find out. Hangfire.
I've got my fingers crossed for you.
There we go.
Cool. So that means that our server is now running, the Hangfire server. It's you have a development, a database console open somewhere. We could look at the database. I bet you've got a few new tables in your data.
I bet there are some new tables in the data because you told me there would be, and you're not much of a liar.
That's right.
Hey, there's a Hangfire schema.
Yep, so that's all the stuff that where things are being persisted for these Hangfire jobs. So when we create a job, it's actually going to get written into there as its persistence layer. That way, if somebody trips over the electrical cable, the server goes down. When it comes back up later, it'll continue running your job, which is pretty neat.
Okay, so yeah, we're getting criticized about my
hard coding.
It's a live
strings.
stream. If we spend 20 minutes trying to get the connection string to work, that's going to be boring.
Yeah.
Although it's
come watch Jay and Brendan try and figure out how to get a connection string into their code. Right?
Yeah, it'd be awesome. All right, so that's running in there. So what do we want? So how do we get this thing doing our stuff then?
Right. How do you make the thing do the stuff? That's a classic question, right? So if you actually, maybe on the screen there, if you can open up the Hangfire site, hangfire.io.
Sounds good. Hangfire.io.
You'll see some decent documentation right on their homepage there.
Delayed jobs fire and forget jobs. Only once and almost immediately after creation. Okay. Recurring. So this is like our automated action. This is an automated message. This is a delayed message or a delayed action. So we could do both of those as these. Let's see.
So continuations are kind of like when that's done, do this, as I understand it. When the parent job is finished, batch continuations fired when all background jobs in a parent are finished. Parent batch are finished, right? So that's like go do all these things, and when all 50 of them finish, here's the cleanup job, or something like that, right?
Yep, makes sense. Makes sense.
You can see the batch just over there on the left. Although now here's an important part about Hangfire. You can see a little pro badge.
Yes.
So everything you're seeing here is part of a free library, except basically the pro stuff, where that takes you into the paid version of the library.
Which we aren't going to do on stream, but free we'll absolutely do.
This was all an elaborate ruse to see you type in your credit card information, but it failed, huh?
Yeah, exactly. Hang on, let me put in my card information. Card is my PayPal account is, and the password is.
It's working. It's working,
yes.
Everyone.
Yes, you figured it out.
So, but as you could see there from that landing page, there are quite a few very useful things. And really, if you're not doing batch stuff, you don't need to worry about pro.
Yeah, so here's what I'm thinking. So I'm thinking we convert our existing automated action system to just use this. Mm-hmm. Yeah, hang on, everybody. Let me just type in my credit card information into the window here. There we go. Oh, dang it! It's in the Twitch chat. Oh man, I just put my card information in there. Oh man, what a mess up there. Oh, bummer. You guys got my
weird.
card.
That's the same credit card number I have. What are the chances?
Yeah, exactly. No, I thought it was like 4 numbers off. Wasn't yours like 44445555666677777?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And the CVV code is 888.
That's the same combination to my luggage. Exactly.
Wow, that's a long luggage tag. Never seen a lock with more than 4.
It's very secure luggage. Mm-hmm. It's 4 locks on a chain. You gotta do 1 lock to get to the next one. All right, so we've got those. Here's what I want to do. Let's take let's just chop stuff and move it.
The old chop and move.
Yeah, we're gonna cut it off right over here and just move it over into the other project. Well, actually, what is in here that we can't just So what do we?
Yeah, so you're imagining that someone's going to click a start button in the web UI, right? And that's going to start the...
Yeah, that'll start this bot.
So if you go back to your program a second, or wait, where was it?
Which one?
Oh, yeah, the other one. Yeah, that one. And scroll down to the switch statement. Yeah.
Yep.
So basically what's happening in the start there, that's the stuff that you want to do inside of the Hangfire job, right?
Yeah, I wanna run this.
Yeah.
Or potentially in a website run this and then have those actually underneath be those. Mm-hmm. So why don't we? Do you think we should do a page for this? Like an actual page for this?
Yeah, why not? We can refactor it later, right?
Yeah, let's go ahead and make a Razor page. Have you gotten the chance to use Razor pages yet?
A little bit, not for anything real.
Okay.
I know this is going to sound blasphemous, but my way of understanding them so far, my sort of handle to understand them is that it's basically, what if you took everything good about MVC Razor pages and mixed it with everything that was quote unquote good about web forms? It's basically what Razor pages are, right? Because you're basically using Razor, you're getting rid of that concept.
All right, everybody, get ready to kill Jay.
I know, right?
No,
I can't believe I said good and web forms in the same sentence, but
no, I was kidding. I actually describe. I always tell people the same thing. I say it's like web forms. It's like what they were, without the bad stuff.
Yeah, right.
The things
Yeah.
we hated on web forms were the state things, the stateful things like view state, and we didn't like the page lifecycle.
Right.
And those were the biggest problems, and the really tight coupling and automatic generation of the objects as C# code also had some weird problems, but that really is a byproduct of wanting statefulness and view state. So they're really those two problems, and this doesn't have those.
Yep, view state's gone. Pretending it's a desktop application when it's really in the web, that's gone. But what's there is the whole, hey, when somebody types in this URL, it's the same path to the page that's handling it that is that I'm actually creating at design time. And I don't have to jump through all these hoops of creating a controller and creating an action method when it just basically passes everything straight through, right?
Exactly. And yes, Arid tag helpers are amazing. So that really is the nicest thing. Even on the simple stuff, like I want to link to a page, so I just say like, okay, this is an anchor tag, and it's ASP for this page. You know, it's like ASP page done, and like I put in the page name, which is just glorious. Because why wouldn't you just put in the name of the page? Why do you care how you navigate to that thing? Oh, someone wants to move it? Cool. Oh, you want it to autocomplete? Yeah, it does that. Like, it's nice. Oh, it has, like, compile checking to make sure that that really is the link and doesn't send you to a 404 if you messed it up. It actually just doesn't put that part on there and links to itself. Like, yeah, nope, that's good. So, okay, so...
Yeah. So my assumption is here we'll want like a button that just does a post to the page, right?
Okay. Button? Like, you want a button, or you think an input button? Guess it doesn't matter.
Yeah, it'd probably be an input button if we want it to form post. And we need a form to wrap around here. Am I wrong about that? I'm not a Razor Pages expert by any means.
Start.
Yeah.
What did you say we'd do after the button?
Well, this needs to be on a form so that it'll post, right?
Might be in a form already. I can't remember if the layout has one.
Oh, okay.
It may not. But yeah, that's a great question. Does it have one? And I think it doesn't, actually. Form. We'll put it in here.
You can never have too many forms.
Nope, definitely not. What do we want as our action to be on this?
Oh yeah, so this gets into Razor Page stuff that I don't know. Let me see if I can quickly pull that up on the Google.
Yeah, we'll put in that for now. There is no something. Cool. Will you make the something? Ah, controller something and action something. Okay, cool. We'll do bot admin.
Oh, okay. So it's just this.
Ah, so it's wanting to put it on a controller. That's weird.
Yeah, because we were trying to do Razor Page, right? So here's the thing. This will post back to itself. So if you just do form method equals post, that should be enough. It'll post back to the same URL, right?
Yeah, we could just do our on post here and have nothing special about it in any way.
Yep. Maybe somebody else on the chat knows Razor Pages better than me.
Okay, so we'll do this. Post. And in order to see it, I'm going to do a label. I'm going to say @model message. Create a property message over on the CS file. Wait for all the tools to catch up to me, because I type way super fast, almost 3 words a minute. Message equals posted. Thanks for popping that up. Alright, so step 1, put that page on the site. Step 2, hit view. Wait, what? What's it doing? What are you doing? What are you doing?
Is it already, is it still viewing or still running?
Yeah, I don't know if it created the site, if it created that page though. What did I call it? Bot admin?
Bot admin.
No, there it is. No, doesn't want to post. Submit button. Looks almost as awesome as it does in Blazor. Yeah, exactly.
So let's see, Razor page. Time to get a little Google help.
Yeah, Google, why are we idiots? What did we do dumb? And welcome, C# Fritz and friends. We have a small auto host from C# Fritz that just came in.
Oh, nice.
He is not streaming today. He streamed Saturday morning and will stream again tomorrow morning.
So we're just going to have to be good enough
to entertain anybody that shows up from there? No.
Yeah. Oh, you know, change your input to a type submit. That's the problem. It was just it was a button, right?
No, it was an input with a type submit.
It was? Okay.
No, actually it was an input type button. You're right. That was the problem.
That's, yeah, because those don't do anything.
Yeah, those don't do anything. But that does. There we go. Posted. Done. Okay, cool. Sorry, brain didn't work there for a second.
That's right. You're only one word off.
Yeah. See, look, we put in our derp face whenever we derp, but only when we remember to put in the derp face when we derp. Okay, so that starts up the bot. Totally started. Everybody saw it. It worked. That was a lie. It didn't really start it.
So now to do the bot, I guess you're going to want to do like a fire and forget job. Is that what you're thinking? Oh, did I lose you to thinking land?
Yeah, just yeah. So you're thinking that we fire and forget the bot main run. So we create a bot main and then we do a fire and forget on run.
Yeah, if you look at the
so let's try it.
Start method, you're basically grabbing an instance of the bot main and then just calling run. We can pretty much do that same thing, right? I think.
Yeah, let's grab a bot main. Import bot main. We don't want to I don't want to new a bot main. I want to resolve a bot main.
Right, and we probably can do that inside of the enqueue task. So here I'll do some live share coding.
Sounds good.
So I think what we want is it's called background jobs. Background jobs. That's our namespace there.
And I just realized I should pull the bot main in on the constructor.
Yes, correct.
And hang on while I scare everyone, because we're typing at the same time.
I know, right? Think of how much more efficient you would be if you were always typing twice at the same time. All right, so this is basically where we want to put our actual code that we're going to do here. So I'm going to just grab this. Oh wait, you're doing that, so we'll just do bot main.
Yeah, it'll get passed in this way.
Is it going to be like underscore bot main? something
Yes,
like that?
exactly. Yep, that's what it'll be. Mr. Slippy Fist, this is a pair programming extension in Visual Studio, and it is in preview. And you are able to use it at work. I think it's unlikely to break things, but there are some bugs, and there's a little bit of weirdness. So our typing at the same time was actually the most dangerous thing we've done so far on stream with it, because it messes up our Intellisense.
Mm-hmm.
They haven't figured that one out. They are always improving it, so it's getting updates regularly, and it's getting much better. And it's fairly stable and works pretty well. It's fast, so like as he's doing things, I'm immediately seeing it because like I hear his mouse click, and as you know, Skype is not that delayed, and it's happening when he does it. So.
All right, so I can't see that red curly brace or curly underline. I mean, so what's it complaining
A
about?
lambda expression with a statement body cannot be converted to an expression tree.
Oh yeah, it's actually, so here's the funny thing. Let's create a private void
method, right?
Start. Do that there.
Yep, that looks great.
And then we'll just replace this with the start.
So. Actually, do we want to do that, or do we want to do this? Will it work like that?
You can. I think it'll work either way.
Well, can't convert from method group to expression action.
Yeah, so I think it does need the parens and the lambda arrow in there. Ooh.
Okay, parens, big fat arrow for the lambda.
Okay, so is that happy curly brace, or sorry, red squiggly wise? It looks like it is.
It's happy now. So on post, we start up the bot. Is there a way we can tell if this has already started?
There is, yes. It gets a little fancier now, and you would basically need to name it and then check to see if there's already a job called something or other running, which is all doable. Let me see see if I can get enough Intellisense over here through the live share
to figure it out.
To figure out where the name goes. Right. You can see there's 4 overloads of this, so one of these has a way to name it, I think. All right, how do we name our Hangfire job?
That's a great question. The interwebs will help us.
Yep.
And welcome. Thanks for following. Someone just followed. I didn't see who it was. And I apologize for not saying your name when you followed, but I didn't see it. It will pop up in a moment.
Okay, so it looks like it's just an attribute. So let's try this. Display name. And what should we call this? Bot?
Bot
job?
Sure. That's probably fine. So using the display name attribute off of the system component model is actually what it uses. So that's actually really cool.
If that is true.
We should be able to try to start the bot multiple times here. The other thing I need to check is before we run that, there's a couple of things we're going to have to do as part of the startup that were happening inside the console application previously. So when this started, it didn't just start that. Before it did the wait for commands, it also set up our DI container. So we need to make sure we wire that up because we are using AutoFac, which we could just use the built-in Asp.NET Core one.
Mm-hmm.
But we'd need to switch to that. And then initialize configuration, I don't think does anything all that fancy other than just grab our configuration, which we could just do down there as well.
Okay.
So let's do these inside of the web startup. So startup, what did it do? It grabs command handler settings, Twitch client settings, and I think those might be the only ones. What else did we grab? Configuration builder, program, bot configuration. Here we go. Twitch client settings, command handler settings, and a database connection string. Client, command handler, and our connection string didn't come out because, you know, things. So this came in from here. Where did this get called? From there. So our configuration, services configure, you know what? I bet we could get the whole thing. I wonder if we could just do a whole bot configuration. Oh, is this up in the other project? It's in the other project. It's not in core. I guess that makes sense. So I'm going to add this down here in the web project. Oh, it's down here. No, it's configuration already. I forgot. Whoops. I included, look, see that,
there it is.
That reference down there? That is the same file. So it's already here. So what we want to do is this, inside of startup. So I'm going to comment out these two lines. And, well, actually, hang on. Services, configure that type, configuration section that. Is there a nice way to do the connection string, do you know?
You talking to me?
Yeah.
A nice way to do
chat
what with
or
the
anyone.
connection string?
So this same trick where we configured a connection string, but I guess I could do configure bot configuration.
Yeah, if you have a
Can I do the root section? Like that? Or do I not tell it, or do I just not give it anything then, and it goes with the root?
Yeah, can you do just configuration dot?
Can I just say configuration? Maybe it seems to let me.
Okay.
I don't know.
All it can do is not work.
Technically, no. It could like format my hard drive or something like that. I don't know. I didn't write the code. Let's talk with someone at Microsoft. Maybe they wrote it to format my hard drive. I don't know. That seems likely. It doesn't seem likely. I was kidding.
All right, well, while you've been trying to figure that out, I've been looking at some code I wrote recently to enqueue some work. And I remember that you can actually, I think you can actually hard code a type of like a class that you want to run, which is kind of cool. Instead of doing a method, you can kind of wrap it in a worker class. And then you can mark it all up. So if you don't mind, I'm just going to kind of start putting some placeholders in.
Yeah, go for it.
I'm going to put them in line, which we can, and we can call this the bot worker, I guess. And that has to be an I worker. So here's where live share is kind of breaking down for me a little bit because I can't tell the squigglies. I just happen to know that that's going to have to be imported.
And I will follow you so people can watch you code.
Okay. All right. And then I guess I'll just put a method in here called start. And we'll just do it this way to begin with.
Okay.
So one of the things that I've used before is a little attribute you can use to mark up a method that's in a worker like this. So let me see.
Disable concurrent execution. So that is a make sure there's only one of this running at a time thing.
Mm-hmm. And then I forget what the 0 is. Maybe you can see that in your Intellisense. Mine as the timeout in seconds. So what does that mean again?
Let me delete this. Oh, yeah. Did you get it?
No, I can't see it. Maybe you can see it.
All right. Let me. It says int timeout in seconds, and then there's a secondary one for order.
Okay. It doesn't tell you what it means, though.
Timeout in seconds. I assume that if it thinks it's dead after that amount of time or something, maybe it. I don't know.
Yeah. I can't remember. I thought there was more Intellisense to it than that, but
no, that's all it tells me.
Okay.
So 1 minute timeout, maybe? I don't know. We'll take a guess. And while we do that, the answer that every developer should always be doing while pairing is while one guy types, the other person goes and pulls documentation.
Now I can now change this to a typed enqueue here. So, and say I want to enqueue bot worker type.
I love how someone asked my exact question that I was wondering on Stack Overflow already, and I didn't actually have to type the question. I just put in disable concurrent execution. It says, what happens when the timeout expires is the question.
Yeah, that's what we're kind of wondering, right? I can't remember what the significance of that timeout number is. I can tell you in the application I was using this in before that I wanted it to time out. I wanted it to never be possible to run something twice. This was like something that was processing a queue, and I didn't ever want to end up with two of them. So that 0 is somehow helping me do that. I can't remember why. And then here's kind of a cool little chunk of code. Excuse me. I'm going to paste in.
Okay.
Right here, we'll just say running jobs. So this is part of the APIs for Hangfire, and this is going to basically get me a list of running jobs. And then I could do something as simple as like if I guess I would want to say not running jobs dot any, and I guess I'll call it J for job to be consistent, or it could be J for me.
Yep, I think it's J for you.
And then it's value to get the actual job, or to get the actual type out, and then job dot type. And so if we say type of what was it, bot worker. So I'm not sure this is the exact right way to do it or the best way to do it in Hangfire, but I have found success with this. This basically goes and checks to see if there's any jobs running, gets them into a collection in memory. That's the to list here. And then checks to see if any of those jobs have the type of bot worker, which means that the bot worker is already running. And if not, then it should start the bot worker. That's kind of what we want to do, right?
Yep.
So now we can get rid of this. And then we should probably.
You were programming with a cat, did you?
With a cat? Oh, nice. Well, you were programming with a dog a second ago. My dog just walked in, so it could get really dangerous here. Oh, and actually, before I get rid of that stuff, we actually wanted to do the run. Do the run down here. And so now the bot worker is the one that actually needs a constructor, probably. Does that look right? And then we need to grab bot main as well. Okay.
Yep.
How am I doing?
Oh, great. And once it gets that constructor, I think it'll be good.
Yeah, so the question is, does the bot worker get created in such a way that it knows how to do your dependency injection stuff here? So if I was going to put a breakpoint anywhere right now, I would put it right there.
Yep, were Visual Studio working right, I would do that too.
Oh, that's right. You can't start the debugger, can you?
I don't think so. I can try. Let's try it. But I don't have good... Yeah, nope.
No such luck.
Yeah, I'm hoping that once I do a full computer restart, because clearly restarting Visual Studio and IIS Express isn't enough, I'm betting a Windows restart will fix it.
Interesting. I wonder if you have any task manager, if you have any .NET.
Oh, that's a good question.
Instances running. Maybe is just off running, lost in space.
Yeah, I can try killing more stuff.
Oh, yeah. So it's being pointed out that we can simplify this any statement.
Good suggestion there, Blub. And
but I don't get
yes.
that Asp Resharper, so I don't get that. I don't get that Intellisense, so it's on you.
Yeah, it just does this. It's just going to switch it from a not any that are equal into an all are not equal.
Yeah.
Which is logically the same thing and saves you a single character.
Yeah.
So
this is one of those Resharper fixes that I actually find less readable than the original.
I find this more readable. Which actually, now that I think about it, maybe I should just... I want to change this specific link simplification, but it's like... Yeah, exactly. Any is more readable. I agree, Nuffly. Yeah.
Now, granted, I think Resharper's point there is that this not appearing where it is a bit easy to miss.
Yep.
That is true.
Yeah, the not. I agree that the not is hard to catch there, which is why I would almost do it like this. If you one more spot there, you know, something, and then it's like, oh, not something, you know.
Right. Yeah, you can just call that like already running.
Yes, exactly. Yep.
Yep, that's probably the best right there as far as maintaining it goes.
Hang on a second. I want to try something. Are you running Resharper?
I am, yeah.
Okay. I want to try something. Don't use Resharper. Just type a new name for that bool right now.
Okay.
Just go in there and edit that. Hang on. All right. Holy crap. Resharper, like, I don't know if you guys saw what I did there. I triggered Resharper's rename, and you type in the new value. And it cool. Works.
So I guess my typing through LiveShare is really equivalent to you typing into the text editor.
Yes, it really is like considered the same thing, according to like so. Resharper can't tell that that's not me. That was neat. I like that because I clicked that and I was like, wait a minute, he just used my rename. Like, what's going on? So okay, cool. That's neat. So, you learn new things about VS LiveShare every time you use it, I think. Okay, so...
Looks like we're getting a lot of love on the any overall.
Yeah, everybody else agrees this is better, and I think then writing it like that makes it pretty clear. This isn't already running. This is... Oh, yeah, if it's not already running, then yeah. Yep. Nope, that's it. That's what we want. Yep. Very clear, very clear.
Now I'm curious why you chose bool over var there, my strongly typed friend.
Because it's a bool.
Okay.
I don't use var for the native types. So
okay.
That's just because I'm like it's a bool. Like what?
Yeah, you know it's going to be a bool. It's only one more letter than var.
Yes, exactly. And when people use it on int, I'm like, what? Why? It was int. It was 3 letters. Like, why'd you write var? Like, what are you saving?
In case I change my mind later, I guess, right?
If anything, int is fewer pixels of color than var, clearly. So we're saving pixels here.
Yep, save battery life.
Yeah.
Lighting up those pixels, sure.
Yes, Boolean jokes. So
the best kind of jokes.
Yeah, so true walks into the bar. I don't know where I was going with that, but I don't think it matters.
Here's a good Boolean joke about Boolean jokes. You either like them or you don't.
Yeah, that's good. I like it. You actually had a Boolean joke ready. I'm impressed.
I actually just made that one up. I don't know if that's more impressive or
This is Jay,
scary.
everyone. He's a comedian. We brought him in here for comedy.
Mostly my Boolean work. Done a lot of work around primitive types. So, should we see if we can figure out if this works or not?
Yeah, let's give it a try. So I'm going to apologize in advance, everyone, because there's a good chance that we're going to make multiple bots and have to kill the process because bad things are going to happen in chat. So let me go ahead and refresh this page, which came up just fine, and I click Start. And maybe it started, maybe it didn't, and I have no idea what just happened.
So you can go to the Hangfire URL now,
/
Hangfire, and we can see if there's a job running there.
That's a good point.
One of the great things about that Hangfire admin UI.
Wait, retries. Oh, there we go. Cool. Unable to resolve service type. Hey, neat. This is cool. I can see the error too.
So it did run and it did fail. So it basically comes down to we need to initialize your dependency injection framework.
Yeah.
Inside of that worker.
Yeah, we knew we needed to do that though, so that's cool.
You're saying that was a purposeful fail.
Well, it's a fail that we expect.
Yes.
Which
true.
You know, writing code live, we expect a lot of failures because you're writing code live on a stream. You know, so Jay's another guy that speaks at a lot of conferences and stuff, and so he knows about like demo luck and things like that. Your demo's always going to fail. For some reason that's completely unexpected, and it has never failed that way before you do the demo.
Yeah. I've done it enough speaking where I just I don't leave much to chance anymore. If I do live code demos, everything is kind of already ready to go. It already worked that way. I'm just going to put a few things together, you know?
Yep.
The other thing is I don't think people really want to watch me type. Although this live stream is sort of is challenging that assumption of mine a little bit.
Well, there's a difference between sitting in front of your computer while someone types stuff and sitting in an audience while someone types stuff.
That's true. That's true.
So autofac in ASP.NET setup. I don't actually know how to put autofac in there.
Oh, yeah.
ASP Net Core autofac. Run, setup, configuration, add stuff, variables, things, MVC, register.
It appears there's a hangfire.autofac package that we might want to look at.
And I can hear my cat breaking things behind me. Because of course he is. Thanks,
autofac.
cat.
So hangfire.autofac is the autofac IOC container support for Hangfire. That sounds like us.
Exactly, Erdtag. I didn't want any of that stuff wherever it was. Okay, so here's what we were running before. In our setup bot, we had new bot dependency container, bot configuration. So we created some autofac modules. So why don't I create a few modules that it'll set up? I think these are what I want. Does this look right to you, Jay?
Makes sense. I don't know exactly what's in those modules, but it looks like that's including everything, or almost everything.
Yeah, they would do a good chunk of our stuff. They don't do some of this setup here. So, which we would need to then just move this stuff into its own module, I think. So we won't have everything yet.
Here, let me send you a Twitter message. Here's a good documentation page on exactly what we're trying to do.
If it's relevant, you can toss it in chat, man.
Oh yeah, that's a good point. Let me put it in chat.
Other people might care to... Yeah, there you go.
So this is basically the documentation on, I think, doing what we're trying to do. Using IOC containers inside of background jobs.
Because it needs to know to do that. So we're going to have to wire it up in there also.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, right, yeah. Okay.
It's making the, this page makes the obvious point that HTTP context is not available if you're using instance per HTTP request or in request scope.
We're not, so that's
but
fine.
Yeah, I figured you weren't because you were in a console application before,
yes.
Right?
Yep, exactly. It wouldn't make any sense for us to be out there. Okay. All right. So the thing I want to try to get this moving.
So here's what you got to do in your startup for your project. Right where you're creating your container, your autofac container.
Well, yeah, the problem is I'm doing that in the. This is currently in the other project. Right, setup bot's still over in the console app, so I need to get it over here somehow.
Now I understand. Okay, yep.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's the weird part. So
it's funny how changing your code to run in just a different environment sort of forces you to refactor things like this.
Yes,
that you didn't really think about ahead of time, right? Like, it doesn't really matter where I do this. Now it does.
Yeah, we knew there'd be a little bit of pain moving it over here.
Mm-hmm.
Startup. High container, application container. Okay. I think we need a third one. So we're going to do this. So we have the core module, but then we're going to call the other one the web module, I guess.
Okay. That makes sense.
That name seems to make sense to me. So we're going to make this new type. Module. That's actually what it is going to be. Now let's put this in its own file, because why not? That's not own file. Why is that the top thing, ReSharper?
Yeah, I feel like that changed in a recent version. I used to always just go down to the first one, too.
Yeah, you just click that and go.
Wonder if you can change the order of those. That would be really nice.
Okay, so looks like this is the method we want to overload in order to put our types in here.
Uh-huh.
Okay, so oh, makes me wish we'd simplified this code sometime a while ago. Okay, so in here I want to register everything else. So everything that uses the word builder. Builder, 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 builder.
So interesting. When you highlight that builder, you know how it turns everything purple? That has the same name?
Sure.
It does not do that in live share. That's interesting.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's weird.
I actually have to select it, it looks like. So if I come here and select, yeah, now I got all the purple builder words.
Mm-hmm.
But when you selected it, I didn't. So there's still some things that are based on my cursor and your cursor.
Wait, I think this comes after that one. Right? Because we need to be able to grab the repository? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, where did my instance of repository come from? Right here. We called setup database, which we're going to need to call at startup also. So that's why that was done out there. So I could do this as part of the module, but I don't like that as being part of the module, so I feel like we need to set up this instance outside of here. So I'm going to pull this out and put it in the startup. Because I think we can get away with putting it here, which I feel less bad about than having it in the module itself.
Right.
Oh, Nuffly, I've just now seen your message. I think that is a perfectly acceptable way to do that for now. Even if hard-coded just means putting a list in the database. Alright. So setup database. This needs to move then, right?
Yep.
So we'll put this down here as well. Setup database is down here instead. We'll move it to a better namespace. This one has the word web in it. So this needs the repository. So this is registering a specific repository, but I'm not sure we need to do that. I think we can just create one. I think we can just tell it to make one. So maybe we tell it to make one as a single instance one right here, and then we use it afterwards. So I'm going to say register type ef. Wait, what is it? It's not ef core. It's not a what's it called? Hang on. I only have one implementation in my repository. ef generic repository. There it is. There we go. I remember the names of the classes I write. Okay, so now we need to get that type. We need to get the instance of this. So we want to resolve an instance. So let me just search for the word resolve. Container.resolve. Do I have access to the container at that point? I'm not sure I do. We're about to find out.
Yeah. Not sure either because you're kind of setting it up.
Yeah, I'm still building it.
It must be there somewhere though.
There's got to be a way to get it while we're using it. Actually, wait, do I need it? Simple commands equals... Ah, okay. Oh, I get what it's doing. Hello, welcome to the world. Alright, so here's the problem. These all have access to... so for every one of these simple commands, they have access to command as implemented register. We want to register each one of the simple commands that's in the database as a simple command. Really? Wait, this doesn't seem right.
Yeah, I'm not sure what this is doing exactly.
I'm not sure what that's doing either. I don't
Should we
even
see
know
if
what
we
that's
can
doing.
see if we can live without it?
That's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna see
All
what
right.
it even did. I'm not sure I wrote that code. When you get to the, I'm not sure this is. Uh, no, not yet, AJ Ukraine. Although making card games is a planned thing for the project, um, but we were right there just looking at. We're setting up our autofac container that we were using previously over here. Now I might get rid of autofac and just use like something else. I don't know yet.
Yeah, and we're refactoring it so we can use it inside of a Hangfire job triggered inside of a web project.
So let's go ahead and do this. We're going to start it up again. That's a good point. I didn't check to see if the Hangfire job had ever given up, did I? Did it ever give up? Wait, is this running? Invalid operator, no service for type. Service provider factor has been registered. Well, that looks like there was something I missed in the autofac documentation right there. Yes, Sushinator, you are correct. The best snack while programming is fried bugs.
A little more programming humor there, I see.
We're all about programming humor.
They didn't get enough with my Boolean joke.
No, definitely not. Okay, so add a custom dependency injection container to Asp.NET Core. Yeah, that's what I'm doing. Add other stuff container.
Yeah, so you just want to use autofac in ASP.NET Core.
Yep.
There's a pretty simple way to do that in the startup, which is right here. I'll put it in the chat.
Cool.
Wait, did I get the same?
This is where I was before. I didn't see the autofac one, though. Where do I tell it that my container that we're using an autofac one?
So let's see. So one of the things is there in the program CS for your project where it does configure services. So where is that?
I apologize. The cat wants to rejoin the stream.
I thought you already had your program CS open for the web project, but I guess you don't. So let's go into the web project and go to program CS.
Let me follow you around.
Right,
this is where you do some cat meme about like I have no idea what I'm doing kind of thing, and then the cat like paused the keyboard or something.
So here they're doing web host builder.
SharkDeed, we could absolutely use the default container. The only reason why we are not using the default container is because we already have stuff configured not in it. So our options are either just make this one work right in here, or alternately we can switch it. And we probably will switch to the default container.
So then let's see, it's add autofac, which I might need you to. Oh no, it looks like I get the drop down over here.
The question is, does it work?
So now this is where we need to bring in the ASP.NET Core autofac NuGet package, I bet.
Oh yeah, okay. Cat, move your tail. Would automatically get that? No. Figures not. Alright, so we're going to go over here.
And, although you can, there's a cool feature in ReSharper
yeah,
where it'll look up that extension method for you and find a NuGet package that has it.
Autofac. Is it?
Let's see, it's
really hard to type when the cat continues to whack the keyboard and mouse. Yes, the cat is still here, and he will not stop hitting my hand with his tail. Yeah, I expected ReSharper to be like, hey, let me search for this, but it's not searching for it.
Oh, it won't do that for you?
No. Yeah, it's like it wants me to actually write the code myself sometimes.
Ugh.
It's like, dude, I did most of this myself. It's time for you to do some code for a change.
Well, it looks like you just bring the Autofac package into the application.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
Nothing special?
Did we not have that referenced by the web project yet?
That's possible that we don't. So I will go ahead and install it. And we'll see what we end up with.
And then that should give you that add Autofac extension method that was in the program skills.
Could be correct. It could be this one.
It's a little hard to tell from the naming convention, isn't it? Do we get any Intellisense or any ReSharper help with that one now?
I will bring that one in because that's a very likely one.
Okay.
Yep, that was it. Autofac extensions dependency injection.
Okay.
There we go. Async awake, if you're here, toss some coins at Sushinator.
All right, then let's see. The next thing is in the startup. So we'll switch over to startup. And you have to grab your configuration root there, I think, into a property or a field. Is that being done already?
I'm not sure where you're seeing this.
I'm just looking at the documentation. Okay, here's configure. So they're in the documentation here, they're grabbing that, but I don't know if we technically need that. Okay, so then they're configuring the container by doing where's that called from though?
Oh, they returned a new service provider that was an Autofac service provider. Yeah, Mr. Slippy Fist, I think we might just fall back to that one. And Jaragara, a good place to really practice C# is to do like katas and other things like that in C# are a nice way to have a limited scope application to test things. Did they get rid of the iService provider returns on these? Do you remember, Jay? Or is that something that we can still get and we just have to...
I don't know for Autofac for sure how that works. Are you talking about for the built-in DI framework or?
Yeah, if I have this return, right?
Mm-hmm.
Then could I just do this and hang on? Would I just return this at the end of this, and does that work? Where did application container come from? What is this one? Ah, so it built the container there.
Mm-hmm.
So they did the container building inside of configure services. And they made a container object that they used. Okay. That's weird. What? Oh, yeah, sorry. The bot's not running right now. Yeah, that's a good point. We can't actually give you any coins right now for doing awesome stuff. Wait, hang on. Sorry, you can keep going, Jay. I'm going to just link to something and pretend
Okay.
I'm the bot, even though I'm not.
Let's see, I've got a project here somewhere on my hard drive that's got AutoFac already set up. Is that what you're wanting to use, is AutoFac for DI?
Or we can just bail on AutoFac and just register our own types.
Yeah.
Let's just register our own stuff.
Yeah, in some ways that would be easier.
Yeah, I'm sorry,
already
AutoFac.
built in.
Yeah, well, yeah, we previously didn't have it because the ASP.NET team was nice to themselves and not to everyone in console application land.
Mm-hmm.
So here's what we're going to do. We're going to go ahead and find all the AutoFac stuff and shoot it, because it didn't work right off the bat, and that's what we do with things that don't work right off the bat. Welcome to America. That was a joke for anybody who's not actually from America. Only certain parts of the country shoot every problem they run across. Like when oh, cool history note. Oh, I forgot to tell you guys. This is the awesome thing. So I live in Ohio, and Jay lives in the worst state in the union. I mean, sorry, Michigan. Sorry, I forgot its name there for a second. And you might not know this, but did you know there was an Ohio-Michigan war?
I did. Shots fired, and I think it was pigs that were killed or something, right?
Yeah, no humans. Anybody here know who won that war, Jay? Anybody know who won? Technically, nobody, because...
That's right.
Yeah.
Although it depends on if you think getting Toledo or getting the Upper Peninsula is winning, right?
Yeah, I guess it depends.
Maybe I'm biased on this one, but
no
I
one
tend to lean toward...
No one really owned but the Upper Peninsula. It was like, what?
Yeah. I tend to lean towards the Upper Peninsula, seeming like the better prize there. No offense if you're from Toledo, anybody.
Whoa. Tony Tacos, man. That just, I mean, you go to Toledo, yeah, that's... Actually, the funny part is we usually call Toledo Little Detroit. That's the weird part. It really does feel like Little Detroit.
Yeah.
It's basically in Michigan.
It definitely is. It's if you look at the Michigan state line at the bottom of the state, it jogs way up to kind of avoid Toledo.
Yes.
It almost looks like it tried to avoid Toledo.
Yeah, they adjusted the line. That was what the war was over, was who got the port of Toledo. Was that part of the state of Ohio, or was that part of the territory of Michigan?
We're being accused of starting DevChatter civil war.
We did. Wait. I just realized I'm now in the South.
For those that don't know, who aren't from the U.S., Ohio and Michigan are natural enemies. Like a lot of states that are very similar to each other. Actually, there's a sort of rivalry. It's really just a sports team rivalry, I would say. Because if you blindfolded me and dropped me somewhere in Ohio or somewhere in the lower peninsula of Michigan, I wouldn't be able to tell the difference.
Unless you saw like a street sign or something like that.
Right. Geographically, pretty similar places.
Yeah, they're pretty similar.
Until you get to southern Ohio, and then it starts looking a lot more like Kentucky and West Virginia.
Yes. So Ohio's a weird state because Cincinnati's part of the South.
Right.
Which is like, wait a minute, you have a city that's part of the South? You're very clearly a northern state. Yeah.
Well, speaking of Toledo leaning towards Michigan, Cincinnati definitely leans
it's Kentucky.
Towards Kentucky.
Yeah.
It's right on the river there.
I live in a town where the guy released a bunch of tigers, lions, baboons, and bears a few years ago. I don't know where that is, actually, Mr. Slippy Fist, but that sounds horrible. Okay. So here's what we're going to do. So we need to register a bunch of types on this container, right?
Yep.
So we can do configure container, right? And container builder would probably, or does this have like builder.register type? Yeah, see, there we go. We can just do this, right?
Mm-hmm.
This is the standard way of doing it without our fancy stuff here.
Yep, and if you just register all the types to their interfaces here.
How does it register them? Does it do register type and then as?
It's interface first and then, yeah, and then type next.
Okay. So I could just, oh, wait, what? So let me get rid of autofact just to make sure I'm not using it. Ah, see, container builder is an autofact container builder, which I don't want. So is it services that I want to do then?
Here, I'll get you the.
Yeah, give me the startup method because I don't remember what it is. No, I don't remember that, Mr. Slippy Fist. I don't remember all the news stories. Do you know how many people do crazy things in Ohio? Do you have any idea how insane we are? I mean, I love the state, but okay, yeah, well, of course. Why would anyone own all of that stuff? I mean, the city that I'm from is known for black squirrels, and I can tell you those aren't native to the area. It's because, you know, some idiot brought black squirrels in, and now they're an invasive species. So, welcome to the world. Did you grab, do that? Yeah, and stink bugs, yeah.
Okay, cool. So basically what you want to do is so if you go to the service, the configuration.
Configure services, configure.
Yep, and you got the services entry point there. It's passed in as a parameter.
Yep.
So if you just pick somewhere in this method, you want to configure your services, and if you do services.add, and then you have to pick the word for the scoping that you want to do. So it would be add scoped or add as part of the method name, yeah. Add scoped or add
singleton, potentially.
Singleton. Mm-hmm.
Which I don't like singletons, but that's basically what these are.
Yep. Yeah, especially if the service is running as a singleton. And then there's two types you pass into the as subtypes for the generic. One of them is, the first one is the interface, and the second one is the concrete implementation.
Yep, makes sense. I see that. T implementation. So. Okay.
So that's it. They just want to do a bunch of those.
Yep, we can do a bunch of these. Register type. So let's the logger factory, and then we want to have an I repository with an EF generic repository like so.
And the other one is, by the way, is add transient, which basically means an instance per request for one.
Yeah, I remember that one, which is the one that you'd normally want for most stuff you're doing on the web, but we don't want here.
Right. Scoped is good for the web too if you want to scope something to the HTTP context, like during a request response.
All right, Jay, I need to tell you something that just came up in chat that Sushinator just brought up here. For anybody who's in here, stick around for a couple of seconds. I want to tell you a funny story. So C# Fritz was doing a live stream, and it was an 8-hour-long workshop, right? And he was going to have various guests from all around the world joining him, you know, experts in various things. Well, the funny thing is, it just so happens that multiple of his guests are like right here, like literally the same city I'm in. And so I drove to one of their houses, and I was just rang the doorbell. I was like, hey, I want to raid this, you know, like, because I warned her before I did this that I was going to raid the stream. And so she's on the stream, like, as the guest, like Jay is up there, and her doorbell rings, and she's like, that's weird. And she just kind of ignores it and continues on. And then after she's done with the stream, because I just have it pulled up on my phone. I ring the doorbell again, and she's like, "Oh wow, you really did show up." I'm like, "Yeah, I told you I was going to raid the stream. Now let's go get Steve." And so we go and we hop in our cars and we drive to where the next guest was because he was just another couple miles away, and we just show up on stream and we're like knocking on his door, like, "Hey Steve, let us in." And he locked his door because he like didn't want anybody to disturb him while he was on the stream, and we're like just knocking on the door at the office like, "Hey, come on, we want to raid the stream." So it was pretty good. Yeah, it was a real life raid. So Twitch raid, real life, IRL Twitch raid. So it was good. I highly recommend it. Just don't show up at my house, please.
Uh-oh. You're putting the stream on the stream. Oh, there we go.
Yeah, it gets weird when you put your own stream on your stream. Mm-hmm. What is his top all-time clip? It sure better be my IRL raid. Yeah, there we go. So, see, there's me. See? I don't know how you guys can see that, but that's me and Saduki showing up on a stream there. So, you guys can't see this because it's hidden behind Steve, I see. Or behind... It's Jay, but it's hidden behind... Yeah, you guys get the point. See? People showing up on a stream. Yeah, that was a raid. Yes, that is a nice friendly thing. We raided someone. Okay, so let's get all these types. Here's what we need to do. We need to take all these. We need to change up how they're written. So where's the code that I'm changing this to? Not that one. This one. Services add singleton. It's literally what I'm going to do on all these things. Yes, I know singletons aren't great, but these basically all need to be singletons.
These configuration methods in Asp Net Core can have a tendency to get a bit long. I'll often just refactor them for readability. Have like a dependency injection method or something like that to do all these.
Yep, that's what we're probably going to do here. Whoops.
Because here we are, even in at this point, a fairly simple web project, and you can see it's already getting pretty juicy.
Yeah, it gets crazy when you start adding all these things in. Mm-hmm. Isn't there a way to just tell? Is there not a way in this one to just say to scan for all the types, or alternately to say as implemented interface?
I don't think so, no.
Huh. Default one could really use that.
It would be a real easy extension method to write, though. Use a little reflection and see what interfaces a type implements, and then just do all these.
It'd probably be easier from the container to do that because you could use pattern matching.
Right. One of the things I like to do on my projects is I like to write a lot of helper methods for DI. So, you tend to have repositories or helpers or managers or things like that that follow a certain convention. I don't like to have 150 of these mappings in my code. I like to create a new repository and have it automatically just be dependency injected. So I'll do a lot of helper methods that do stuff like that at startup.
I can't do this.
No.
How do I do that one in this one? Do you put them in here instead? I bet you do. So the challenge here is we've got a generic we need to register. So I think I can get away with this. I'm pretty sure this exists. Now I probably should be checking my Intellisense instead of just assuming. But since it worked, I'm going to say I think it worked. Alright, I want to explain to everybody what this was, because this is a weird thing that I just did here. Wait, what is this? An extension method with an attribute to mark the types that implement your configure methods rather than pure scanning. Reflection to find all the things is expensive. Yes, exactly.
Yep, that's true. I usually don't mind it too much if it's just a one-time during startup thing. If it takes 500 milliseconds to scan my types in a certain DLL one time,
Yeah.
doesn't bother me too much for a web application. But yeah, you're right. If it's happening all throughout the life of the application, that could be a real performance dog.
Yeah, so I want to point out to everybody, so when generics in C# allow us to get away with, doing a less than and then the interface and then the concrete type within this, but the challenge is you can't put a generic inside of there to say that one of those is generic. So the way you have to do it is you have to say, I want a type of that is the generic type for these in order to get those registered. So it's a little bit different and has to do with how the language actually treats these things. So very strange.
Yeah, that's interesting. I have not had this problem yet, but that's really cool that solves it.
Yeah.
It would be even cooler if you could just do generic unspecified type within a generic, but maybe in the next version.
Yep. There we go. I needed two of them. So this is an iChat user collection. This is an iCurrency generator. And I'm pretty sure there's an easier way to do exactly what we're doing. Wait, what is currency update? Does that even need to be in here? I'm not sure that needs to be in here. I'm going to try to not have that in there. I don't think it needs to be. iAutomated action system, our iSettings factory. This is the this is an iCommand. iBot command.
So Calum 3 is asking what it is that requires us to do that open generic iLogger. You must have, you're probably using iLoggers of all kinds of different subtypes.
Exactly,
throughout.
Yes. Yep.
Kind of an interesting thing about that iLogger of T, if people aren't familiar with it, it's a .NET Core thing that basically logs, when you log something, it'll have a category. And if you're using like an iLogger within a controller, you can have it be of that controller type, and it'll basically log all of the logged events from that controller with the category being the name of the type or the name of the controller. So that it kind of categorizes things. So what's really nice about that iLogger of T, creates your categories for you automatically.
Yeah, so this is what he's talking about. I just highlighted one here. So we have an iLogger adapter of command handler. And the reason for this is that we actually have our iLogger wrapped in an iLogger adapter. And I am not going to get into why right now. It's in one of our past episodes that you can find in the video. I think I have the title saying that we added logging to it. So if you find that video, that's the one where we go into that and explain why we did it this way. So, also, I want to mention that studying for a C language final exam at 5 a.m. and watching DevChatter while you're doing it is awesome. So thank you. What is like one of these? Like, we'll do that. I don't know if he was watching or not, but that's what I have to say about that.
Yeah, that's impressive.
Yeah.
I'm not sure I could do both at the same time.
Okay. Yeah. But funny enough, the one that we use is actually just a wrapper around it like this. It simplifies it and makes it so that we don't have to deal with implementing all the stuff. So we want a simpler interface. Microsoft made an interface that has too much versatility for what we want. So we got rid of theirs.
So do we oh, you got a
I did
Go
this
Go Gaga
for those. I have what?
Go Go Gaga is now following you.
Oh, yeah. Cool. Welcome. Yeah,
so yeah, you think you got all these injections set up, you think?
Nope.
Dare we try it? No, you're still doing them? Yeah,
I have this set here to do still.
Okay.
So we'll do this.
Yeah. That's right. Now just a little cleanup and then a little pasting.
Yep, include that. Now we need to have this at the beginning. So we're going to put this at the beginning of these.
Yeah.
There you go.
Assuming everyone on the stream is familiar with this block pasting that you can do, but this is a huge time saver when you're trying to do.
When you're doing horrible things like this.
Yes, exactly.
Yep.
It is a little harder at the end of the line though, isn't it?
Yeah, wouldn't it be nice if it could figure out to like say, hey, just grab the ends of all these lines and I don't care where it ends up?
When it's only like 10 or 12 like this,
it's not too bad.
Bother.
Yeah.
No, if it's hundreds of them, I'll write a regular expression or something to.
Yeah, or you can sometimes just find replace it.
Yep.
Okay, so that does not. Which of these, top command, uptime command, tax command, give command, I think these are all as themselves. As implemented interfaces. Okay, so that was all the way down to schedule. Now the last couple of things we need are these.
Getting there.
Yeah, I know, right? We have quite a few types. These are special. I'm going to wait on those. But these ones are very regular and normal. So we're going to say services.add singleton of the type. And again, this is an iCommand cooldown tracker. Where did this come from?
Yeah, I can't find that one.
I don't know why I couldn't find that.
Just missing a using, I guess.
Yeah, it was, but it should have just found it. That didn't make sense. So that's one of those. It's no longer as implemented interfaces. We get rid of that. Get rid of this.
So it's interesting. There's not nearly as much power in this built-in DI framework than what AutoFac has, not surprisingly, but the syntax does seem to be a little simpler. I mean, a little less wordy than what we had before.
Oh, that doesn't have a, okay, it says self then. There we go. Okay. What was this one? Bot commands. So the help command, the commands command, and the bot commands. Yeah, so these are a little complicated. I'm not sure how we're going to set these ones up, to be honest. This will take some figuring. Add singleton. Oh, did we get switched to a different mic on your end? And now you're silent. That's cool. Bye, Jay. It was nice knowing you. Yeah, still no Jay.
Okay,
hey,
I'm
he's
back
back.
now.
Welcome back.
Just had to wait for all the things to reconnect.
And Misstat444, welcome. Hi. Let's see. So we need the help command. So how do we do something with this? I need special context. Implementation factory. That looks like it.
Yeah, there's not quite as many fancy features like that stuff in AutoFac built into this one, so we might have to come back to these. It's definitely less featureful. So Misstat is asking us what we're working on. We're working on the refactoring right now the dependency injection to basically be able to host the chat inside of a web application. Well, I assume you're not going to get far without any of these, though, because I see one of them is the help command.
The commands command and the commands list. Okay, so there's some stuff that we're missing here. So let's comment these out. See what our current version does. I guess we're still missing some more pieces. I think.
See if we can even get dependency injection in there in the first place.
So we no longer need to add that. Do we still call?
Yeah, you can just get rid of that line.
Okay. There we go. Hey, it built. That's amazing. I can't believe that actually built. I didn't think it was going to.
It's a lot of changes.
Well, I thought I left things broken in the console application, to be honest. And I'm looking forward to restarting my computer and having IIS Express work correctly again.
Yes, that'll be very nice.
Holy crap, we're not broken. Doesn't
so
mean
now
it
if
works,
you go,
but...
So before you start it, go look at the Hangfire URL a second. Let's see if it's running or not.
It still has this one scheduled to retry, so I'm going to delete it.
Yeah, delete that one. Because we have that little bit of logic I put in there that said if it's already in there to not run it. So.
Okay, should have started it now. Oh, there we go. Well, that's fine. It's allowed to fail to resolve a type. That just means there's a type we still need to add.
iList of dev chat. What is it? iChat client?
iChat client. So it needs the chat client, which was resolved somewhere in one of those modules, which probably means it's the module we didn't do yet.
Okay.
So we just did this one. And
well, that's very reassuring that it got some of the other ones that we did add.
Well, it's this one. It's the Twitch one, which makes a lot of sense that the Twitch one would fail. But yeah, you're right. It got the ones that we needed it to get, like the ones we'd already told it about. So was this the Twitch one? Wait, where's the Twitch module? Did I close it? No, there it is. Okay, so we need these types over there. So new line there. It's a Twitch follower service. Wait, I follower service. The thing that's really confusing is there is followable service and a system and followable service. Because like one is about getting the followers of a thing and the other one's about a thing that people can follow. Like it's two directions. It's like, what am I following and who's following me?
Yep.
It's like very, very confusing.
It's a followee and a follower, essentially.
Yeah, basically. This is an iChat client. So that's the one that it actually wanted, was this piece. That's what it needed. But I know it needs the other ones too, so we're getting those. And this, I think if we just make this object and just insert it, I think that'll work. I think we can just add this as an instance, which maybe is what we have to do for the other ones too.
Okay.
So I won't have a context. Can I resolve here or not?
Yes, I think you can.
How do I resolve? Because I need client settings here.
Is client settings a configuration?
Yeah, it's one of my config sections. It's right here.
So you could just read the config as needed here, I think. Let me see, I've done this before too.
Yeah, you're right. I could just put this in here.
Let's see if I can find anywhere where I've done that before. Although that's basically, you've got the idea.
Yeah, I just don't want to use it this way because it is of type, right? It is a type. So wait, it's wait, hang on. I know how to do it. It's you then do like a get, and then you do it as a Twitch client settings. So if I do that, and then I'm just going to Control Z this, whoops. There's where I want to stop, import that, and then this is that type right there, and now it can use the settings. Now I don't want to return here. What I want to do is this. I want to services.add singleton, and it's a Twitch API. And I actually want to give it the object, the API. Actually, that's funny. I don't need that type then, unless I want to tell it it's something else.
Yeah, it should be able to infer that, right?
Yeah, so this is not one of our types here. So that's why it has this weird, like it doesn't do a constructor binding, which is why it's weird. Like, because if it just went into the constructor, we'd be like, yeah, it just needs this configuration, and we already told our system that it knows about that configuration type, and we'd just be able to use it. But we can't because that's not our type. So, and it doesn't do it with a constructor parameter, so we have to do it this way. Okay, so we wire those up. Where's our last thing? Our Twitch module. I thought there was one other thing we had to do. We did the chat client streaming info service. I think this is the last one we need from that. Back here. There we go.
This is the longest live share code sharing session I've done. It's been interesting to have it following your cursor this whole time. When you go real fast, it gets a little behind, and all of a sudden it'll just jump somewhere. It's not quite as smooth as what I'm seeing in the video, but it's still pretty cool, and it will get better, I'm sure.
Yes, I'm amazed with what they've managed to do so far. To be honest.
And one thing, I don't know, I imagine you've used this before on your streams, but one of the things your viewers might not know about is that you can also do this across different versions of the IDE. So if you're doing a project in VS Code, you can do it between 2 copies of VS Code, or full Visual Studio and VS Code, or 2 copies of Visual Studio like we're doing today. So it's kind of cool that VS Code is part of that family.
Yep, that is definitely the crazy part, is that we could share, we could both be in VS Code or both be in Visual Studio. You could be running a Mac, I could be running Windows. It doesn't matter. So that's the neat part. We could be in Linux, we could be in Windows, we could be on a Mac. We can run any version of Visual Studio we want. I could be in, Pro, you could be in Enterprise. I could run Community. Like, it doesn't matter.
Another kind of cool feature, you can actually open up a port on your computer to me. Have you played with that one yet?
And we can go direct, you mean, instead of...
Yeah, and then I can open a browser and start hitting the website from my machine. It's kind of cool.
Oh, yeah, I haven't messed with that yet. States. I'm going to delete this.
Yeah.
Okay, so no jobs going.
Yep.
We're back here. Click Start. And unable to resolve what? Generic list of iChat client for bot main.
So you have to do iList of chat client, I guess. Is that being injected somewhere? iList of chat client?
Here's what we're going to do.
Oh yeah, there it is in bot main.
Yeah, it takes in an iList of iChat client, which is really stupid that it has a problem with this. So we're going to do this one. We're just going to say, when you want iList of chat client, what you really get is Twitch chat client, and you get a list of it. Will that yell at me? No. That'll yell at me. What if I do an iList of this? Not an IO list, an iList of it.
What's it complaining about?
Oh, whoops. No, it wants this. iChat client. Maybe. Yeah, it didn't know that the list was going to be an iList, maybe?
Uh-huh.
Get required service actually, and then do the configuration on the API. Niall Maloney. Yeah, I think we could do that also. Elixir and Phoenix. I don't have any experience with Elixir and Phoenix. Maybe Jay does.
Let me see. What's the question?
Someone just asked.
Wondering. Just in general? Not very much, no.
Let's go ahead. We're going to build again. We're going to run this again and see what happens. Oh, I'm looking forward to that error being gone. That is really annoying. I've had a couple of streams where there's like a recurring, like, annoying problem that came up, and it's like...
Don't you get to pick a name for this recording after we're done with it?
Yeah, I could.
I suggest that you name it that error message.
Okay, unable to resolve Twitch client settings.
Oh, okay, we're getting closer. We're going through one by one here.
So Twitch client settings is this. So we configured this as a configuration section, but for some reason it didn't know that that was... when it goes to make the Twitch chat client, it's supposed to get this, and it didn't know how to do that. Is there something I need to do to tell it, hey, like, be able to resolve this?
Yeah, for the... How are you injecting it? Can I see where you're injecting it?
Yeah, sure.
Because what you can do is you can use the I options. Have you seen that?
It's been a long time, but yeah, I sort of remember it. It's right here. Did you follow me in?
Yeah, I did. So I'm just looking for the documentation for this. Here, let me put this in the Twitch chat. So basically, you can use I options of T by doing the services.configure whatever, and then later in the code, when you inject an I options of that type as one of your parameters, so if you scroll down, let me look at the video. Yeah, that right there, where you were. You can see they're just injecting an I options of T, and that makes it automatically inject that configuration setting.
So if I did I options of this, then it would work?
I think so, yep.
Yeah, the only annoying part with that is that wires me straight to this. So I'm going to go the other way, and I'm going to do this. Since we already pulled it out here once, because we had to do it to get settings right here.
Yeah,
so
just
I'm going to
create it as a singleton instance.
Yes.
Yep,
so I am just going to say...
That's a good way to do it, and then it doesn't tie you to the I options of T implementation in Asp Net Core.
Yeah, exactly, because that's kind of annoying that doesn't just do that right out, like right off the bat, because you'd think it would just work. Like, why wouldn't it just do this?
One of the things I kind of wonder is if at some point Microsoft isn't going to move that I option or the dependency injection framework that's in Asp Net Core to just .NET Core.
That's one of the other things that gets me, is the number of things that are specific to ASP.NET.
Yeah. I'm glad they put this DI framework in it. It's really nice to have one built in like that. And obviously they're using it themselves to DI up all the stuff under the covers. But it would be nice if I could use it in a console application or somewhere else.
Yep. Okay, I'm going to steal 2 of these lines, and I'm going to put them up here. And I'm just going to do one of these, and one of these. put that in there, and this in there. So now anything that wants these config items can just request them and they'll get them. Congratulations. Yep. You don't need to do any extra work. You get them.
Free of charge.
Yes.
Technically, you could take those generic subtypes off too.
Yep.
Now, because they're inferable.
Yep. Because we're not grabbing the interfaces on them. So.
Yep. I forget who that was that complained about the green squiggly before, but if they're still with us, they might complain otherwise. Because ReSharper grays those out when they're not needed anymore, right?
Mm-hmm. Thanks, ReSharper. We do appreciate you, even if we're sometimes annoyed. All right, let's start it up again. See what our new error is. Now what are we unable to?
Did you kill the instance that was running already?
Yes.
I didn't see. Okay.
Unable to resolve type iTwitch API while attempting to activate a Twitch chat client. Okay, I thought we had that one. Oh, iTwitch API.
Aha, there it is. There was an interface there. One of the nice things about that autofac feature where you can just tell it to do the implemented interfaces.
Yes, just use your interfaces, please.
You don't even have to think about it.
Wait, why is that complaining?
Oh, okay. So Neil Maloney is saying you can use it in a console application if you add the Microsoft extensions, dependency injection, and Microsoft extensions logging NuGet packages. Great. Now that you mention that, I do vaguely remember something at some point about them saying those were available. Was that a 2.0 feature?
Yeah, they didn't make it easy, though. I will tell you that.
No? Have you tried it?
Yeah, we've tried it. The part that you're really going to laugh about is we're using it.
Yeah.
It's in our console app.
Okay.
That's how much we've tried it. Okay,
so
again, it's getting annoyed by like these collections of a type, and it's like, whoa, you wanted a collection of this type? What?
So are you using all iList and list?
Yeah, I think it's all the iLists that are failing. I think you're right.
Do you think it would let you just wire up iList of blank to list of blank?
There we go. Let me try that.
Like you did with the ilog logger?
Yeah, I could, or I'm just going to change the type.
Yeah, you can do that too.
Seemed easier.
So this is kind of funny. You remember the Hangfire configuration use SQL Server storage? It's still underlined in my environment as an error.
Oh yeah. When something gets messed up in VS Live Share, it is permanently messed up like that. So that will not go away until you restart. Once it thinks there's an error, you're done. There's an error.
So yeah, Neil Maloney is saying that dependency injection stuff moved into NuGet packages and became available throughout .NET Core in 2.0.
That makes a lot of sense. All right, let's run it again. RIP. All right, so that build failed apparently. In order to make it work,
didn't like that.
Well, yeah, it didn't want to copy the types.
Okay.
So now I have eliminated them. So because it will copy them now, I stopped the application. Please ignore that error. I think it will go away once I restart my computer. But you're right. This episode does need that as the title.
Can we have everybody vote on it?
Yeah. I have a feeling they're all going to agree that that's the title. Oh, see, now it just doesn't know how to do the list of I interval action. See, it didn't care.
I didn't see it. Did you do a iList
I
to
changed it to
list?
list instead of iList, but now it's complaining that it doesn't know how to do this type. So
what if you just do here? Go back to that spot where you did the injection a second. I'll live share code.
there you go. What do you want to do? I'm following you.
Oh, you're following me? No. I just want to go where you were in your dependency injection. So that's just in startup. Okay. So I was wondering if right here we did your little type of trick and did iList and then type of list.
Yeah, we can do that. Let me fix code.
Thanks. Yeah, it's funny. I can't see any of those things.
I did want that one. There we go.
You think that'll just catch all of them?
That'll catch everything of that type, I think.
So then you should go back to the place where you were before and change that back to. I think the problem is that it didn't know how to
do the automated thing that we're using. I think it didn't know how to do an I interval action.
Yeah, that one you'll need to do explicitly too, right?
Yeah. What implements this? All the different types. Did I previously have these somewhere? I don't remember actually defining these somewhere and using them and explicitly saying that in a module, but maybe we did. Oh, yeah, here. Thanks. Thanks, thing. Thank you. Let's see. Bot main, automated message, time to run should make. Man. Yeah, it has been on my list forever to fix our dependency injection. That seriously is one of our oldest issues, is fix dependency injection in this project.
I feel like you've reached a good point to do it now that you're trying to add a different type of project with the web project.
Yeah, I should probably do it. I don't get why this is even using that, like, needs a list of actions. Does it gets created with this? Where did this get called? Oh, this was never newed up before. Oh, no, this was just created here. Yes, Boxy Baby. Super intuitive and easy to use.
That's why it needs to be cleaned up, huh? There's not many things as painful as having to go through and replace your DI framework just because it breaks so many things.
Yes, it literally breaks all the things when you do this.
Mm-hmm.
So the weird part is it seems like AutoFac didn't have a problem with this, because I don't think we actually had to do anything special for this. I think it just figured out that this was a list of this type.
There's no concrete implementation of I interval action, is there? I don't see any.
You know what? Hang on. I'm just gonna nuke this. That doesn't do that anymore.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that makes it a lot easier.
Yeah. Yeah, we're gonna do that. And then you're gonna say, but this, and I'm gonna say, you know what? Oh, wait, hang on. For each action, action in actions, add the action to the system, done. Because I didn't give it an add multiple, but that's fine. There we go. Test fixed. So we no longer do anything special with that. Now that should be fine. There we go. It builds. Does it run? Look at that. Unable to connect to the web thingy. We don't care. Delete this, because we don't want this retrying. Maybe. Hang on.
Yep. It's still spinning, huh?
Yeah, I don't know why, but I'm going to click the buttons anyway. Well, I mean, they're both still spinning.
Oh.
Huh. Did I make a loop? It'd be funny if I made a loop. Alright, I killed the process. We're gonna do this.
Yeah, what happened?
Yeah, this is the problem. I can't debug this thing because it can't connect to IIS.
Uh-huh. Yeah, that's kind of a productivity killer there, isn't it?
Yeah. Problem is I don't like restarting my computer at the beginning of the stream.
Mm-hmm.
Where is our startup method? Startup. Yeah, if I could get this stupid thing to debug, man. I don't get why it's having this problem connecting to, someone was suggesting, you know, something with, like, changing the port number or something.
Mm-hmm.
You have any idea what his actual suggestion was?
Yeah, you might like if you go into the here, let's see if I can find it. The web project, I'll go into the properties and the launch settings and IIS Express. Is actually there's no
Moxie
port.
Baby, we tried that a whole bunch at the beginning. So we could just pick new numbers for these.
Yeah.
That's what you're thinking.
So you've been running it under the IIS Express profile, right?
Yep. So you're thinking just type in some new numbers.
Yeah, why not? Just add one to each one or something.
Yeah. Okay. Let's try it.
What's the worst that could happen?
It could just work. That is really stupid. Can I call it stupid now? I want to call it stupid. Hey, cool. It failed. Cannot instantiate implementation type I-interval action for service type I-interval action. Oh, crap. Oh, yeah. No, I busted that. I left a code. I left my code in the place in the wrong. That was me. I did it. It's this line of code. Please pretend that never happened, because that never happened. There's the bug. We found it.
Yep, that'll do it.
Nope, nothing to see here. Nothing to see here. That totally didn't you know, thing. What are you talking about? What are you talking about?
Hey. Launches Chrome like that for you? And
I know. Did you guys know that? I can just type it. I can just hit a keyboard shortcut, launches Chrome straight into the URL we want. That's amazing. When did they add this feature?
You have to kill the job still?
Probably. Let me, what's, Hangfire?
Yeah, /Hangfire.
Tries, yeah, let's delete. Go back here.
That's
start.
a URL you might want to change in production.
What do you mean? You think someone else might figure out that that's there?
Right.
Dude, no one else can see the source code for this project. They'd never realize we were using Hangfire.
Yeah, that's right.
Oh, hi Twitch. Yes, exactly, Boxy Baby. Futuristic in Visual Studio, that feature, it's the best. Okay, so what do we have? Invalid operate, unable to resolve command list in command handler. Okay, yeah, that's the one we need. That's the one we knew was coming up. Alright, that's these. Oh, this one's not special, except that it takes in that. So it needs to resolve the command list in order to create itself, which means that that needs to exist. ilist of ibot command. Is that really going to pull all the types of that? Oh man, autofac is neat. I forgot it did that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It literally will grab all the types there for you and just put them into the thing with a thing and be like, hey, yes, I made this for you.
Hey, my Boolean joke from earlier made it to Twitter.
Oh, good.
Oh, it was async awake. Thanks for sharing that.
Yeah. And welcome, no content. No, yeah, it was a terrible joke. It deserves shame, all the shame that Twitter can give you for it. So the help command, whoops, the help command needs to get instantiated. Now this one is another one of these special ones. It's going to get a repository in it, but we then, once it's going, we want it to get its command list also. Same with the commands command. And then command list needs to exist as well.
Basically all the things.
And somehow these need to get all of the commands.
Yeah, this is getting a little fancy now. I don't know how to accomplish this.
Yeah, what is this? What is the Asp Net Core dependency injection called? Did they give it a name? Or is it just Asp Net Core DI?
It's under that Microsoft extensions dependency injection.
Yeah, where's the add all? Yeah, Asp Net Core DI add all types for an interface. It's like how to register multiple implementations of the same interface. Yeah, like all at once.
Manually, yeah.
But yeah, except not manually. I don't want to I want to say that or resolve all. Actually, I want to resolve all, not register all. Resolve all implementations of a type Asp Net Core DI. And injecting multiple implementations with a DI container. Yes, I have two things that are iCar, and I want them to be iCars. Yes, kind of like this. Okay. Change a new resolved parameter.
This is the part we were
autofac.
talking about earlier, because when I use the built-in ASP.NET DI, this feature doesn't exist in it, and so I will use something like reflection to just go find all the things that implement something in a certain class or in a certain assembly, and just loop over them and do the services.add singleton for each one. But if there was another way to do it that was built in, that would be super cool.
Oh, and no content to answer your question. Yeah, so we were doing this in AutoFac. In fact, this is how you do it in AutoFac. But we're trying to not use AutoFac here. We were trying to axe AutoFac and be like, let's go with a simpler approach. Like, let's remove the need for it.
Huge mistake.
Apparently.
How many different types do you have in there for those?
Well, this is all
the
commands. So
all the repositories.
Got, like, these. There's a few in here. So
it's a lot.
It's enough that it's annoying to do one at a time.
Yep. Yeah, I wonder if in lieu of writing that code to do it the better way, if you just need to have them all spelled out to begin with and then loop back around. I can show you briefly how I went about doing this, though. If I can just look at some old code here a second.
Go for it. Get services? Interesting.
Yeah, that's new in 2.1, I believe. Get services. It'll list all of the services for an interface, right? But that's kind of the opposite of what you want.
Is this not what I want? This feels like what I want.
You think it'll actually return everything that implements it, or could implement it?
Well, it will if we do this. Wait for this horribleness. And a couple of these aren't really them. Like that one's not really one. What the? Why is that popping up with stuff? I almost wonder if that's like the live share that's causing that to keep coming up.
Maybe. You want me to disconnect from it?
No. I'm just gonna pin that there so it doesn't pop up anymore.
Okay.
So we're just gonna put this on for all the commands. It's a command, it has that. Help command and command also get them. Which is really weird because that means they are also these same things. Okay, so we're gonna make that command list. Oh, right, they have to come before it, so they have to be registered before it, and they need to somehow get it. Like, which one's created first, man? Which one's created first? Oh, that's why it did unactivated, isn't it? Or, I don't know. We'll see what it does. Hopefully it doesn't do crazy things. Unactivated. All commands equals all commands. They don't have it in their constructor, do they? Because they need to be able to get created without it. Do we not have that as like an after the fact, like maybe they get the service container? Yeah, async awake, sorry, it's not in there. If you bind this list of ibot command to different types, how are you going to resolve any of instance? We don't need to get an individual instance of it. We just need to have the whole collection, because we work with the collection, not with the individual instances. Which reminds me, how did this work? This takes a command list. Okay, so that just needs a command list. All right, that's fine then. That'll work. So we won't have a... So our help command and our commands command won't work just yet. So we're going to need to fix these. To do, make these work. To do, make these work. There we go. That should be good, right?
All right, cross your fingers.
Except for the fact that it's got build errors, but is it just that it can't? Yeah, no, it's... For some reason, it's not stopping the project in order to actually do this. So stop all. Stop, kill the website. Yes, die IIS Express. Alright, there we go. I killed IIS Express. It will never work again for any of you because I killed it. I apologize about that, everyone, but it was causing problems. Alright, let's reload that. Okay, delete scheduled thing. There's now no tasks. We're going to go ahead and start this and see what happens. Oh, retries again. Dang it. Still failing.
So many classes to inject.
Cannot consume scoped service that from singleton this.
Oh, so your app context is scoped. Your app data context is scoped.
Where did I set that one up?
I don't remember that one.
Services, add DB context.
Oh, yeah.
Singleton, I guess, for now. Which sounds horrible. Because can I consume that from a singleton? I can't give it an instance?
You could make it transient. Then it would create a new one every time.
Yeah, that's a good point.
It's probably what you want anyway, right?
Yeah, for this one. New DB context every time, but because we're putting it into a putting it into that type, it should be fine.
Hold on 1 second. I'll be right back.
Yeah, no problem. All right, we're gonna delete this. Hey, we use JavaScript 2 here. First time I see get services, and I can you also add IEnumerable to the constructor now? I think maybe no content. The reason we created a class before was because of the delay. There was some reason we created it, and I don't remember exactly why. Wait, hang on. Delete that. I don't think I deleted it last time. Now start it. Cannot consumed scoped service DB context options. DB context.
Is that another one of those typed options classes that we need to set up an instance of?
Yeah, I think so. It's in here, DB context options.
Yep. So we just need to do that same thing that we did with the other options type.
You mean make this an iOptions thing or put this in?
In the startup, we grabbed it and then, yeah, put it in as a singleton. Like, right. Where was that?
Yeah, but this is a weird one because isn't this like, this is For add DB context, I thought it just did this automatically. Yeah, that's if someone passed in options. So what do you think we need to do with this?
So let's see, where's that config? Okay, so if you follow my cursor, what we're doing right here.
But we don't have a config section for this.
Oh, we don't? Okay, that's what I was asking. I thought.
Yeah, no, I don't think so. Config.
So where does that object come from? The config, the instance of that parameter come in the constructor of the app data context.
Using it. That's the weird part. Can I remove this? What happens if I remove this? Where was that getting called from? Ah, in here. Can I maybe make one that doesn't have parameters? Or does it get greedy and just want to call the...
Yeah, I feel like if you have one without parameters, it'll call that
maybe
instead.
It'll call that one, yeah.
It's so nice to be able to debug again.
Yeah, isn't it? Isn't that nice? I like that. That's like this crazy magical thing. Let me nuke that for now. And a little confused why it's giving me a hard time about this. Yeah, we might have to call it quits and not actually get this up and running here today.
Might have to have a to be continued.
Yeah, we're running later than I wanted to be. What
Sure.
the? Why did this not work? There it goes. Okay. Okay, let's start this. Now we hop over here. No, yeah, it's still trying to use that constructor. Oh, bummer. Oh, I'm gonna have to figure that one out. I don't know whether we're gonna bang our heads against the wall on stream again, or if we'll do a Brendan figures it out and then shows you the solution when we're back kind of thing.
There's a lot of just busy work that has to happen to get the DI all configured right when you're switching like this. So
yeah, it's because we have a lot of investment in our previous one. So
so it's interesting to note though that if you do decide to stay AutoFac, that there is an AutoFac extension for Hangfire. So that might be the easiest thing to configure if you stay all AutoFac.
Yeah.
But the other interesting thing to note is that to add Hangfire to this project, we spent about 95% of the time fixing DI.
Yes.
And about 5% adding Hangfire to the project.
Yeah, so I know, it's kind of annoying.
It shows you, though, how easy Hangfire is to add to your project. And this whole time, really, we've been able to trigger a background worker task to go off. It's just getting all the DIs to come in.
I think it'll be good once we actually get that working. It'll just be like, oh yeah, we can now run as a background process and not even worry about it. So I like that piece. I think it's going to be good. I think it's the answer.
Cool.
So, awesome.
Well, if I can be involved in helping out with that, just let me know. But
sounds good.
It's been fun trying to figure it out with you. Let me know when you get that DI stuff all squared away, and love to be part of the Hangfire part.
Sounds good. And thank you, Jay, for hopping in and hanging out, and thanks everybody who's in the stream for I don't know, being nice to me and Jay. More for being nice to Jay. So I don't require that people are nice to me, just to the guests.
It's a really nice group. very little of the internet's vitriol here. So that's been fun.
Yes. All right. TJ, bye.
All right, bye everybody.
Click. 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 There we go. JavaScript. Yeah, so I think we're going to wrap here for today. I want to cover a couple of things before we actually finish here, which is I do want to mention some upcoming stuff. For anyone that doesn't know, somehow you didn't figure it out, we have all of our code that we do in here. It is on GitHub at github.com/devchatter, which I will post into the chat. And if you want to check out our schedule and know what we are doing later on, we put our information up here out on a project on our GitHub account. And if you come down here, you will see nice things like Thursday, pair programming, and we're going to say Steve Smith, and the URL for Steve Smith is very similar to this one, but with a different name, like so, because we have another pair programming stream scheduled for Thursday, so we're going to be pairing with Steve on Thursday. Tomorrow we're gonna start again at the same time that we normally do. So our streams, for anybody that is in here and doesn't know, are on Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday, most weeks, and they're about the same time every day. But we start a little bit early on Saturday and a couple of hours early on Thursday. So hopefully I will see you all there. And I apologize about the technical difficulties we had today, but we will try and get those sorted out, and I will fix up this code and make it work nicer for next time. Tomorrow we're probably going to be working on our other project, and it'll probably be our rock, paper, scissors competition application tomorrow. So hopefully we'll see you all there, and have a great day, and bye everyone.